Hey, and welcome to another episode of Back from the Future, where we like to talk about technology from the past, present, and future. Now, today we're going to be doing an unboxing and a review on the Logitech B525. Now, this is a webcam by Logitech, and it's a budget webcam, and it records in maximum resolution 720p, and we're going to go through its paces and see what it takes to set this camera up, and also how to get the most optimal picture quality out of this camera. So without further ado, let's open up this little baby up. Now, the thing about these cameras, well, all webcams, is because of the pandemic and people have been working from home, companies have been, these manufacturing plants have been at full whack. That's the manufacturing plants that can manage to get their workers in to work, but because of isolation, self-isolation and so forth, the factories aren't running at full capacity. And even if they are running at full capacity, what's happening is that the buyers are buying up like containers full of them and holding on to the stock and raising the prices. So you're sometimes almost paying twice as much for a webcam than you normally would do. Supply and demand. So when we open this, we've got a set of basic instructions, and when we've got the webcam in here, so let's just put this box to a side. You can see that's empty now. Now, the interesting thing about this webcam, it's all folded and everything, but you can kind of open it up. Very strange looking affair. Look at that. That's so I suppose you can clamp it on top of a computer monitor or something like that, and it can sit there and you can angle it, move it around. It's alright. You can put it down on a table or something like that, or get it to sit back and you can have it aimed at you. Now, it's very easy to set up. I'm going to show you how very easy it is. I've got over here a USB extension lead, right, and this is plugged into my computer that I'm running now, and all I have to do is just and it's a Windows 10 computer, and all I have to do is just plug that in, and that's it. That's all it takes for this camera to get recognized by my computer. Naturally, if you're not using an extension lead like I am, I'm just doing it for the purposes of demonstration. You just plug it into the back, or you'd plug it into the side of a laptop, and there you go. That's more or less set up. Now, before we go any further, I would advise, especially if you're using it with Zoom or anything else, you have to kind of configure the webcam itself. So let's go into how we do that. Right, open up Google, and from the link in the description, paste it in Google, or you can click the link and you can open up the Logitech webcam software for Windows 10. Click the download button, and theoretically in the bottom left hand corner you should see the software downloading. Depending on the speed of your internet, obviously the faster it is, the quicker the software will download. It's roughly a 71 meg file. Once the software has downloaded, you can click the exe file, and that should start the installation of the Logitech webcam software. Give it a few minutes to extract the file and to begin the installation. Press yes to allow it to make changes to your computer. Select a language, plug in the webcam, and just go through the basic installation process. Make sure all the boxes are ticked. Now, depending on the speed of your machine, it shouldn't take more than a few minutes to install the Logitech software. Once that's done, what we're going to now do is show you an example of what the basic picture looks like. We've installed Zoom, and you can see that the picture doesn't look too great in Zoom. So what we're now going to do is close Zoom back down again, and we're going to now load the Logitech software. Right, okay, now that that's got that open, press on quick capture. And you should have that same screen again that you saw on the Zoom software. Go to advanced settings and start to play around with the exposure like I'm doing, and just play with the settings until you can get an understanding of the right look that you're looking for. So play with the color intensity, the white balance, as I'm doing myself, and just playing with it until you can tweak the picture till it can look the best that it can look. Now I think I've more or less got it there. I think that's an amazing difference from how we started. Again, I'm looking at, when I was using the color intensity, I was looking at the background of the Terminator poster to make sure the reds weren't bleeding too much. And just play with the settings and everything until you just got a nice balance of brightness, contrast, and color intensity and white balance. You can save the settings. I always leave the autofocus box ticked. I think it does a good job as it is on autofocus. And then close the software, and then you can then go into Zoom like I'm doing here. And go into the video menu, and now there's other settings that you can try to enhance the picture. You can see I can slightly soften my face with the touch up my experience. Make sure it's on HD. You can mirror the video if you want. I generally don't bother. I just like leaving it as it is, because if there's writing in the background or on any clothes, it'll be reversed. I left the adjust for low light on auto. And again, with the touch-up experience, you can see how much you want to soften the picture. The less you soften it, the more imperfections you can see in the skin, or perceived imperfections. And this is what the video looks like. That's literally a live feed that I've recorded from the video. And this is how your Skype video transmission looks. Of course, it's heavily compressed for it to be transmitted. But I think, you know, the picture's kind of soft, but you know, it's livable. But do take into account that I've use very good lighting for this setup, so that's why the picture does look the way it does. Your room may not have such good lighting. Right, now that we've seen how to set up the Logitech B525, one thing that's worth mentioning is it's got a very good autofocus feature on the camera, and also it has an omnidirectional mic. Now I've got some footage of myself and the microphone. Let's take a listen to that. What you are hearing now is what the onboard microphone on the Logitech B525 sounds like. Now I didn't think that was too bad. I thought that was very good, the onboard mic on these webcams. Now I've always found that when I use the microphone on board a webcam, it's very touch and go, but I'm very satisfied with the quality from this camera. Also, what's worth noting is if we look at footage of the Logitech B525 against some footage from a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, let's see how it holds up. Also, one thing I thought I'd mention is to capture the footage of the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, I use one of these USB to HDMI adapters that you can get on eBay for about $10. I will be doing a separate video about using your own cinema camera or DSLR camera as a webcam. So first of all, let's look at the Logitech B525 footage that we captured using Zoom, and as you can see, the footage looks very well. It's slightly cool, but one thing I will say is there's not that much detail, especially around where my head is and so forth. The picture is fairly sharp and I am impressed with it. Now let's look at the footage from the Blackmagic Cinema camera, and you can see that the footage is a lot sharper, but it is a lot warmer. And if you look at my head, you can see the detail in my skin far much more better. But take into account, I did slightly soften the footage from the Logitech B525 in the Logitech camera setup software itself, but both of these images are sharp and I am very impressed. Now let's put them side by side and we can compare what both the footage looks like. Now do take into account the Logitech has a wide angle range of around 69 degrees. Now the Blackmagic Micro Cinema camera, the lens isn't as wide, it's the equivalent of a 14mm, and so the angle is far more shallower, but you can see there's far much more detail in the picture. Do take into account the Logitech camera is only recording at 720p. Now the thing is, I think that's fine for if you're using it on Zoom calls. I think it's more than enough. But if you're actually running a YouTube channel, I think you would probably be better off with the Logitech 920, which is a HD camera. But again, it is a lot more money. That's the issue. But if you do want to use it for YouTube, I think the 920, and we will be testing that to see how good the picture is. But I think that when you take a 720 image that's already compressed, if you're going to be using something like Zoom to do the recording, I think you'll start to see artifacts when it's blown up on a 1080p screen. However, if you were to use the 920, I think that's far more suitable for YouTube content. But other than that, I think this is bang for buck the best value webcam you can get out there on the market at the moment.
If you liked this video, please feel free to subscribe to our channel. press the bell notification button and get notified when a new video comes out. Please leave a thumbs up. If you enjoyed this video, please leave comments and let us know what your thoughts and suggestions are for future videos.
And we will see you in the future, if there is one.